In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to use Reality Scan on an iPad. Reality Scan is a great software to use if you need to capture something quickly and you don't want to deal with setting up a camera. It's especially great for capturing things outside of a studio, like outside or on a site, and you're not certain how much time you're going to have, so you need to do it fast. So I am going to demonstrate by capturing this asset in my yard. In fact, it is a perfect day to demonstrate this. You want to do it where it's not direct sun, so an overcast cloudy day is best. And if you don't have an overcast cloudy day, the next best thing you can do is to capture it in a shaded spot. So underneath like a tarp or underneath trees, not in direct sunlight, so that we have not strong shadows on our subject. So a couple things to keep in mind before you begin your capture is make sure you have enough space to move around your subject so that you won't be in the shot and you won't trip and you can easily maneuver and get all angles of it. Another thing is make sure that your light stays consistent. That's why it's nice to shoot on an overcast day, or if you need to make some kind of shade so that it's constantly in like a shadowed environment. Make sure that the environment around your subject stays the same too, so that you don't have people in the background that move. Depending on your subject, if you're trying to capture trees or something like that, be mindful of leaves moving in the wind. That can also mess things up. So, take a few moments to clean up the area around if you can. Like if you have lots of leaf litter, make sure it's kind of out of the way so that as you walk around it, it doesn't move by accident. Make sure you have a login with Epic Games before you begin. It'll make your life a lot easier because you will need to upload this to Sketchfab. And since both of them are owned by Epic Games, you'll need to be able to log into everything. So I'm going to open the Reality Scan app, and what you'll need to do is click the plus button to start a new project. What you then do is you'll click the button down here to begin recording, and it's an auto record, so you don't need to constantly tap it in order to take photos. So I'm going to hit it once, and as I move around, it will begin to take photos automatically of what I'm trying to capture. And I want to get at least one good go around first, and then I'm going to pause the capture to look at it. You can see the images start to float into space, showing where I took them as I walked through. So I'm then going to pause my capture, and you can see it is beginning to upload my images. So one important thing to understand about this program is that it doesn't process anything locally. It needs to be able to upload this to the cloud in order to do all of the work. So if you don't have access to the internet through your iPad or iPhone or whatever device you're using, you will have to capture it and then let it process after the fact. So when you get into an area that would allow you to upload this. Since I'm doing this at my house, I am on my Wi-Fi, so it is analyzing, it is uploading everything as I work. So you can see that we are getting dots on here. This is telling us where the information is good. If it has a lot of data, it's a green dot. If it's a red dot, it means it does not have enough information from photos, and that's probably an area that we need to take more photos. So I'm going to go ahead and start to take more images. You can see that I took much more photos. I got really low, I was able to get really high, and I got a pretty good sweep around there. Again, I am connected to Wi-Fi, so it was able to upload and process this right now. If I was out and about, and I have done that in the past where I wanted to capture something and I would not be able to use a camera and tripod, so I captured it with my iPad and then came home and allowed my iPad to do this step at my house. So just be very aware of that shortcoming. So once it's all processed, I can then hit this button down here in the bottom right, this arrow, and it will move on to create our point cloud for us. So hold on. What this bar does, or what this box is I can reset the view. I can rotate around, I can go left and right, so I can see the point cloud, and the box is going to kind of cut out stuff that I don't need. Since I did technically kind of capture part of the ground, I might not want to actually process those in my model. You can. The only downside is it will take longer if I do include those ground pieces. So it's kind of up to you how much you want. I'll grab a little bit of the ground because usually that is pretty fun. Excuse the rooster in the background. Like I said, we are capturing on site so that I can show this to you. So I got all that done. The capture area, I'm going to hit continue. We can see the point cloud. We can even see, you know, the photos in space, and it's looking pretty good. It says down here, waiting for server. That means that it is trying to create the 3D model up in the cloud. If I do make a mistake, I can go back to that crop that was down here, and that is allowing me to fix how much I want cropped. Continue. That means going back to this view, and that's just this, you know, I can turn those photos on and off if I do just want to look at that. If I made a mistake and I realize I didn't catch the top of it, I can always click capture up in the upper left, and this will take me back to the previous screen and allow me to take more photos. But Capturing Reality does have a photo limit of how many photos you can take. I'm not quite certain what it is at the time of this filming, because they seem to change it. You know, they seem to raise it all the time. So I'm just going to click model, and I'm going to wait for it to process. As you can see, now that our model has been processed, we can look at it, we can zoom around it, and this is our 3D model, and we can see how well this captured. It got all the detail. We can see that it did trim it where I wanted it to be trimmed, and we are ready to move on to the final part. I'm going to click continue. And what it's going to do, and this is the only way you can get your models, is you do have to upload them to Sketchfab. That's why I said, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and make yourself an Epic Games account so that you can sign in to all of these accounts. So I'm just going to call this Skull Deco. I honestly don't bother filling in those until I'm done. I'm going to process and share it, and it's going to then submit it to that. You can see some of my past projects. We can see Skull Deco is processing right now. The one that I really had fun doing in the past was there was a corpse flower blooming at a local nursery, and I didn't want to bring my full photogrammetry setup because it was very busy. There's a lot of people. I had to capture it quickly. I really didn't want to stand around this corpse flower for too long. So I did capture this with my iPad. I was able to go walk around. They had a ladder, and I was able to get all of this nice detail. It's so detailed that you can even see the sign on there. So Reality Scan is great for capturing objects, especially if you need to do them quickly and you don't have the ability to really control the environment that you're doing it. So you have to go in, capture it, and be done. I will also have a video that talks about what to do to get it out of Sketchfab. Once this is done processing, I'll be able to have a second video demonstrating what to do with it.